Hi, and welcome to another episode of Mind Expanse Digital Training. Today we're going to look at Audacity. We're going to go through this fairly quick just to kind of introduce you to it, but I've installed this and I've downloaded this. You can either get it from sourceforge.net or you can get it from downloads.com or cnet.com. But anyway, just make sure that you know where you're getting your stuff from, as always, when you install something. Just double click it and do the executable, and it'll be really simple to do. Probably the trickiest thing is once you've installed it is to actually get it to work where you can hear it. Now I'm using a headset obviously because I'm doing this recording, but I could use a microphone and I'd have to drop this down and do a selection, and you can see for here I have for my speakers I have multiple things that are available. One is actually the USB. I'm using the desktop so you'll be able to hear what I'm doing. And then of course over here in the microphone I actually have my recording device as my Logitech device. So first things first, I mean, you can go through the files and the edits and so forth and you'll find that there's things there. And probably the two most interesting things are the generate, which you will use for special things, and effects. And you can see there's quite a list of them here. Depending upon your computer and what's installed on it, you may have more because it does a search. But I'm going to go through and I'm just going to do a very quick recording, and I want to show you something really quick on how you can do this to make something that's interesting. Hello, cruel world. And you can see that I have this in here, and if I play this back, hello, cruel world, hopefully you can hear that. You can see that I have this actually in here. This is where my voice is being recorded, and then I need to edit this. So one of the things I can do is I can just go through and I can do a selection and crop and so forth, or I can do something like one of these, and you can see I can move the object around. So if I needed to move multiple items to layer them later on, which we'll talk about later, I could do that. If I want to use the pencil tool, I can I can do some different things with that. I have the zoom tool and I have this, and one of the things I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a selection of this up to where I start, and I'm going to hit delete once I've selected that. I'm left mouse clicking and holding that, and then I'm going to do the same thing here. So all I'm doing is isolating that particular recording. And now when I play this back, let me make sure I do a rewind on this and then hit play. And you can see I've got that in there. Now again, you can use any microphone that you may have laying around as long as you can get your computer to work. And you know, you do have some tools in here. For instance, if I go into effects, I do have some tools in here that I can use to levelize and maybe do some cleaning up in here, like noise removal. So I could go in here and get a noise profile. It will take a sample of it, and then I'll go back to my effects and I'll go back to noise removal, and I can say preview. The only thing you got to be careful about is when you do that, it will sometimes cut your volume down. So keep that in mind. And then there's other things in here we can do like amplify and so forth. But just for today, I want to show you something that's really cool in here, and it's called the pause stretch. That's actually in here. Let's say I'm making a video game or even a movie, and I want to have a really creepy sound going on in the background. I can use this pause stretch tool. It takes a little bit to calculate. Right now it's doing it at a time factor of 10, and I can actually do preview just taking defaults. And so you can see that that's actually there. And if I say OK, you know, think of a horror movie or something along those lines, and you can see how much calculations actually gone on here. It's actually done some stretching of this, so it stretches this out really long. And if I play this back, you can kind of get the feel of what happens with that. And this is something that's really fun to do. You can do things with a cat just going meow, or you can do a dog bark. You can do all kinds of different things. You can say phrases and then stretch this out, and you know, have really a good time with this. So anyway, I just wanted to show you how to go in there and do that, because you know, if you're doing a video game, you're going to find that this tool is really useful to you. Now If I want to go in, I want to actually take some effects to that after I've done that. I could add more echo to it. I can do compressor, which will actually bring that up some. And again, with default, it will pull the volume up a little bit. It's making up the gain in there. And of course, I can do it based on peaks. And you may or may not hear something, drastically change when you do that. But you can see how this has actually jumped up in size. That means it's amplified it some. Compression does that without distorting. Amplify will distort. I can go and add some more echo to that if I want. Just taking defaults again. And if I just take that, and then I can go in and again do some more things. Phasers does a shifting back and forth, left and right. I can do a normalize. Careful with normalize. Again, sometimes that will cause you to have some kind of static or some crackling or something when you do that. I can also add reverb, and there are some that are actually in here by default that you can use. I can say wet only. I can do load presets, and you can see I can pick rooms. So I can say a church hall, for instance, and it will set the settings for me. And then when I go in, you may or may not be able to hear that, but what that did was it actually cut the sound down a little bit, but gave it a more deeper sound, like you're in a bigger room. So anyway, hopefully this will help you get started, and then like I said, we'll do some more specific things like taking sounds, and we can actually mix music tracks on here. We can make audio clips in there. Say you were doing again a video game, or you're making a movie and you needed to do some dubbing or dubing, however you want to say it, over the top of something. You could do that in this program as well, and create that piece, and then go in and put it together and compose it. So anyway, once again, thank you for visiting mindexpanse.com or Mind Expanse Digital Training. We'll see you next time.